Shiba Inu community. Price suddenly crashed, over $849 million gone in a snap. What's even crazier is that Shytoshi Kusama steps out. People are skeptical, but big analysts quickly dropped their signals and opened a light at the end of the tunnel. What is happening? How will all of these make sense? And what on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer: another wild ride for Shiba Inu today. A wild ride for Shiba Inu today. Just yesterday, Inu was holding steady at a familiar support level, but out of nowhere it dropped by 10%. This sudden tumble has left the community on edge, sparking fear and uncertainty as people try to figure out their next move. What's making things even trickier is that profitability for Shiba Inu holders has taken a hit. Recent data shows that only about 4 out of 10 investors are actually in the green right now, while more than half are sitting on losses. This paints a picture of a market under pressure. When profits drop below that halfway mark, it usually shakes up investor confidence. It's like a ripple effect. More people tend to sell, hoping to avoid deeper losses, and unless some serious buying power steps in, that selling pressure can drag the price down even further. To make matters worse, a crucial support zone that Shiba Inu had relied on for months was broken recently. This was a level that had held strong before, but once it was breached, it added fuel to the already negative sentiment. The market is now eyeing 2 key levels below, which, if lost, could send the price tumbling to an even lower range, one that hasn't been seen in a while. The road ahead looks shaky, and the question now is whether buyers will step up and stabilize things, or if the selling pressure will take control. It's definitely a tense moment for the Shiba Inu community. But why? What's really going on here? Why did Shiba Inu take such a sudden hit? Well, let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. It turns out that Bitcoin, the heavyweight of the crypto world, is playing a role in this story. Bitcoin's been making some massive moves of its own, and it's not good news. Recently, it slipped below that huge milestone of $100,000, which is a big psychological mark for the market. It's like the pulse of the entire market, and when it starts to stumble, other coins tend to feel the heat too. Analysts are warning that Bitcoin could face even more trouble, with resistance levels keeping buyers in check, and signals pointing to a possible dip toward the 900.00 range. Now here's the thing, this isn't just about price drops. Analysts are reporting a massive wave of liquidations across the crypto market because of these sudden movements. The entire crypto space is facing another big sell-off, and it's triggered a staggering amount of liquidations, with a value of a whopping $849 million. According to data, the combined market liquidations have surged to eye-popping highs as the total value of all digital currencies took a sharp hit. It's not uncommon for sell-offs like this to follow a major dip in Bitcoin's price, but this one feels especially intense. Bitcoin, being the market leader, has taken a notable hit itself, dragging everything down with it. Traders who had placed long bets, essentially betting that prices would rise, were caught completely off guard as those bets didn't pan out. A huge chunk of their positions was wiped out, leaving many reeling from the losses. It's a tough moment for the market. For Shiba Inu, this adds another layer to the uncertainty. The liquidations and sell-offs create a vicious cycle that can be hard to stop unless something shifts momentum back in the other direction. For now, though, the market is navigating through a stormy patch and no one's quite sure when the skies will clear. But wait, there might actually be a light at the end of this tunnel. With all these big moves shaking up the market, some high-profile analysts have started dropping their signals, and their predictions are giving people hope. The word on the street, this drop might just be a temporary dip, a bit of a reset before gearing up for something much bigger down the line. One well-known analyst on Twitter shared a bold take, suggesting that Bitcoin could still fall further, potentially dropping below 700.00. But here's the kicker, they believe this dip is setting the stage for an explosive rally, predicting that Bitcoin could hit an incredible $250,000 by the end of the year. According to their outlook, the drop could trigger what they're calling a mini financial crisis, which might lead to another wave of money printing. And historically, whenever liquidity floods the market, assets like Bitcoin tend to skyrocket. So while things feel shaky right now, some are betting that this is just the calm before the storm, and that storm could send Bitcoin soaring to levels that seemed impossible just a year ago. It's a bold prediction, and only time will tell if it pans out. But for those riding the crypto roller coaster, this could be the kind of news they're holding on to right now. Now, here's something crazy to think about. According to some analysts, all of this might actually be part of a much bigger theory, and it was revealed in a wild tweet. In a bold claim, the famous Rich Dad author reminded everyone of a prophecy he made back in 2013. He warned about the biggest stock market crash in history, and now he says it's finally happening, with the crash expected to hit in February 2025. But here's where it gets interesting. His tweet wasn't all doom and gloom. He called it good news because in a crash, everything goes on sale. Cars, houses, you name it. But the better news, he says, is that when stocks and bonds take a beating, billions of dollars will flow into assets like Bitcoin. He's predicting a massive boom for Bitcoin and urging people to jump on board while they still can. He even went as far as to say that just owning a tiny fraction of Bitcoin could make someone rich while others lose everything. Now, if this theory holds any truth, and Bitcoin really sees that kind of surge, it could pull the entire crypto market up with it. Shiba Inu, like many altcoins, tends to follow Bitcoin's lead. So even though Shiba Inu is in a rough patch right now, it could still ride the wave if the broader market takes off. It's a wild prediction, but in the world of crypto, nothing seems impossible. But for now, all eyes are on Bitcoin and this looming February crash to see if this prophecy actually plays out. If it does, we might just see Shiba Inu and other cryptos make a major comeback. And here's another twist to the story. If you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, some analysts are saying that Bitcoin might just be repeating history. In a recent tweet, someone pointed out an interesting pattern, suggests that Bitcoin's current behavior is eerily similar to what it went through during the 2015 to 2018 cycle. Back then, Bitcoin saw massive ups and downs, only to stage an incredible rally that left everyone stunned. If this pattern is indeed playing out again, it could mean that what we're seeing now is just part of a larger, predictable cycle, a moment of turbulence before the next big rise. And since Shiba Inu and other altcoins often move in sync with Bitcoin, this could also hint at brighter days ahead for the entire market. So now it all kind of makes sense, right? All these ups and downs, the drops in price, it's starting to look like just one of those usual bumps in the road, clearing the path for a much bigger rally down the line. It's like the calm before the storm, a bit of days ahead for the entire market. So now it all kind of makes sense, right? All these ups and downs, the drops in price, it's starting to look like just one of those usual bumps in the road, clearing the path for a much bigger rally down the line. It's like the calm before the storm, a bit of turbulence before things pick up again. But here's the bright side. Shiba Inu isn't just sitting back and waiting for things to turn around. It's actually making solid progress. All these ups and downs, the drops in price, it's starting to look like just one of those usual bumps in the road, clearing the path for a much bigger rally down the line. It's like the calm before the storm, a bit of turbulence before things pick up again. But here's the bright side. Shiba Inu isn't just sitting back and waiting for things to turn around. It's actually making solid progress with its projects. In fact, there's some exciting news from the Shiba Inu camp. One major exchange, CoinY, just launched a campaign that's all about Shiba Inu. Now, ecosystem. Things like Shiba Inu, Bone, and Treat without having to pay any spot trading fees. This kind of move helps increase visibility for Shiba Inu and adds a little more fuel to the fire. While the market's in a bit of a rough patch, Shiba Inu is still pushing forward, and that could be key to its future success when the market rebounds. Things may